The morning it happened was calm, too calm, perhaps, for what was waiting around the corner. I had just watered the plants in my small backyard and settled into my wooden chair, the one my late wife, Maria, used to call my thinking throne. At 71, my days were slower, quiet, and mostly peaceful. But peace has a way of being shattered when you least expect it. My son Daniel and his wife Priya arrived unannounced that afternoon. At first, I felt a flicker of hope. They rarely visited unless they needed something, but a small part of me always wished it was just to see me. They stood in the doorway, not bothering to greet me. Priya's eyes flicked around the living room, lingering on the furniture and walls as if she was examining something she already owned. "Dad, we need to talk," Daniel said, voice tight but determined. My heart sank. Those 4 words rarely bring good news. "Come in," I said, offering a gentle smile. They didn't return it. Instead, they stepped inside briskly, closing the door behind them. Priya crossed her arms and Daniel cleared his throat. "We're moving in," he said bluntly. I blinked, unsure if I heard correctly. "You're what?" Priya stepped forward. "You're too old to live here alone. This house is too big for one person. It makes sense for us to take over." Her tone was sharp, practiced. Daniel nodded. "We've already talked to a lawyer. Since you're not using the space properly, it can be transferred to us. We can help you move into a senior home. It's better for you." My heart thudded painfully. A senior home, but I'm perfectly fine here. Then it happened. Daniel raised his voice louder than I had ever heard it. "This home belongs to us now." Priya joined in, shouting, "Yes, we're taking over. You need to accept it." Their words echoed off the walls. The same walls where Maria and I had hung family pictures. The same walls where Daniel took his first steps, where we celebrated birthdays, where the warmth of love once lived. I felt something inside me tighten, not anger, not sadness, but a firm, grounding strength. I stood up slowly and looked them both directly in the eyes. "No," I said quietly but with steel in my voice. "This home does not belong to you, and you will not bully me out of it." They exchanged startled glances. This was not the reaction they expected. Priya stepped forward aggressively. "You don't understand. We need this house. We want to start a family, and this is the perfect place. You're old. You should be somewhere with caregivers." I kept my gaze steady. "Priya, you've barely visited me in the last 2 years. You call me only when you want money, and now you think you can walk in here and claim my home." Daniel's face twisted with frustration. "Dad, just stop. We're trying to make your life easier." "No," I replied firmly. "You're trying to make your life easier." For a moment, silence filled the room. Then Daniel slammed his hand against the dining table. "We're not leaving until you agree." I exhaled slowly. "Then sit, because you need to hear something." They hesitated but eventually sat across from me like hostile guests. I reached into the drawer beside my chair and pulled out a folder. "You said you talked to a lawyer," I said calmly. "I did too." Their heads jerked up. "I updated my will and property documents 6 months ago." I slid the papers onto the table. "This home is fully protected. No one, not even my own son, can take it from me without my consent." Priya snatched the papers and scanned them quickly. Her lips curled into an angry line. Daniel's shoulders slumped as he read over her shoulder. You put everything in a trust," he finally said. "Yes," I answered. "A living trust, one that appoints a trusted executor, not you, and clearly states I will live here until the day I choose not to." Priya's voice rose. "You plan this, you plan to cut us out." I looked at her with a painful honesty. "I plan to protect myself." Daniel's voice softened, but only slightly. "Dad, we really thought it would be better for all of us." I sighed. "Daniel, if you truly wanted the best for me, you would have asked how I'm doing. You would have visited without needing something in return. You wouldn't have shouted at your father in his own home." They fell silent again, but this time it felt heavier, weighted with truth. Priya stood abruptly. "We're leaving." She grabbed her purse, her steps sharp and angry. Daniel hesitated, looking at me with something mixed, shame, perhaps, or regret. "Dad, maybe we should talk again later." "If you come with respect," I said softly, "you're always welcome, but not like today." He nodded awkwardly and followed his wife out the door. When the house finally fell silent again, I sank into my chair, emotions swirling inside me, hurt, relief, strength, sorrow. I stared at the photos of Daniel as a child and wondered where things had gone so wrong. But I also knew this: love does not mean surrendering your dignity. A week passed before I heard from him again. This time he came alone. He knocked softly and asked if he could come in. His shoulders were lowered, his voice gentle. "I'm sorry, Dad," he said the moment he stepped inside. We handled things terribly. Priya and I have been stressed, but that's no excuse. I shouldn't have shouted. I shouldn't have tried to take your home." I studied him, looking for sincerity, and found it. "I forgive you," I said, "but things must change. Respect must come first." He nodded. "I know, and I'll do better." We talked for hours. Slowly, carefully, we began rebuilding what had cracked. Later, after he left, I walked to the backyard and sat in my chair once again. The air felt lighter, the sun warmer. Sometimes life demands a moment of courage, one moment when you look someone straight in the eye and stand your ground. And in doing so, you don't just save your home. You save yourself.